So this is an example how I make in Fusion a file that I will print in multiple colors or in even multiple materials. And as you see, I have multiple objects. I can just turn them off. And with normal design systems, I made this going on. So here you see, okay, I show a little bit of it. So first I made this. Is already in one format, but of course I extrude it in the multiple parts. So when you look here, you'll see this PLA2 part, which I just designed on top, and then PLA1 is here on the side, and the flexible part is there. And so when I turn all the other ones off, you only have the flexible part here. So I kept on making the design, and one of the points in design was making, so now you see extra bodies coming up, is making the connect points myself already. You can do it in the slicer, but I'm like lazy and I want to do it one time and not every time again in the slicing settings. So then I do this. As you see here, it's taken off once, and the other parts are still there, as you can see. And I go all the way to the end. I made here, as you see, it's looking nice. This was just a combine. And what I did here was combining these pillars what I made already, and then take them out of the other part so that it really is just getting in one complete combination. Although of course I didn't join, but just a cut with the combine function. Then at the last part I put a text extra on it, and I only joined it here on this flexible part, so I get the same color. For me this is a color time, and although I have a tool changer, I don't want to have too many changes extra to use extra filaments than what is already there, because then also have to print it almost every layer of this print. I need an extra tool change just for example here for the support and here for the color. So it could be done but in this case I just use two heads or two tools. Of course, it's obviously for this three parts which I put together. So of course, before you do something like an export, I always save it, and then I just go on here and I choose to export it as a mesh, save as a mesh. Quality is good enough for me, and I make sure I have the structure as one file. Otherwise you get the multiple parts in different files. No problem normally, but because I want to print in one piece, it's easier just to have it in one file, in one use file, and I save it on the export for me on the computer. To prepare for 3D printing, you will need a slicer, at this time at least, and that's just to have all the things prepared for the printer. Actually, I'm preheating the bed already at the printer. Since I'm using a Flashforge printer this time, I use the Flash Studio, which is the default slicer at this time for this printer, the Flashforge Creator 5 Pro. Okay. Only the 0.4 hardness, that's the only one I have, and I have loaded a couple of filaments. So this is I changed it myself, as you see, a little bit of the profile for the filament profiles, and I will use this one as well. And so I made some small changes. I will show you here. I go to this profile, I go edit, and there's not much edited here, I think. No, I think it's pretty standard. Okay, so here you have the temperatures, and there is the volumetric speed. That is very important always to have that set up right. I don't need a chamber for this filament and for this print. Cooling is just the normal standard cooling that you would have. And I use a little bit auxiliary part cooling fan. 5% is just running slowly so that it's not getting too hot inside of the chamber. No overrides. Advanced, yes, that I do. I like to have the LED turning on very clear. So normally the LED on this printer is only at 50%. And when I set it to white is 1. As you see here, it is the commands you can use for this printer. Then it will turn on the light at 1 completely, so there's full power, so it's better to see. And also I see it when I put it like this, when this filament is loaded, so I can look it up from meters apart. I know, oh, it's starting to print, and it starts to print with this filament actually. And at the end I just turn the light off at this filament. Multi-material, here you can set the purge on wipe towers. I keep it this time, I keep pretty high. You can make it smaller. Okay, it's not that big, and I want to have a certainty that is wiped okay. Whereas it 4 is just to make sure that it is clean and everything before it goes to the print itself. And especially with this multi-material that I use now, it's very good to have it set up right. These are not important. This is dependencies. I set to all because I have multiple printers and I just want to have one profile set up for all these things. When I want this and this notes, I did change it now, so I don't have to save it. And here you see this TPU setting that I used. I just took a vendor. I don't have Flashforge filament in this time, but it is another brand. No problem for that for the TPU. I didn't change here anything. Cooling, I think I left the same probably. Yes, you see the auxiliary part cooling fan. So this is higher, and when it's printing the TPU, so that it's getting a bit more cooling than the PLA even. So this is also a bit higher, so the print will get more cooling. As you know, it's not completely as it should be, so it's 40% for both the intake fan. So that's a bit strange in the slicer, but you can change it yourself. I did. So here I think this is one of the standard settings what they use. So length and then of course advanced. As you see, I put the light on 80% when it starts and 30% when it's finished with this filament, and this is all the same as standard. Like I said, I could make it a little bit less, but it's not that much. Still not much different, but I made some small changes. Then here in the global settings, okay, quality, okay, I use my own settings here that I made. You can pause if you want to see what I did. For me, this is nothing special. I didn't change many things. And I made this profile. Strength, I like a bit of strength for this, but not too much. See this layer, tops, and so on. So this will be, of course, put in all these different places because it has multiple parts together. Speed, okay, also nothing special. As you know, it will be, of course, overwritten for large parts by the settings in the filament. And that's, of course, these things. Okay, here enable support, and I use for normal manual, I will draw the support myself because I don't like these automated settings. And here I already set up these two filaments for support for the ref and for the support ref interface. Just simple settings. And I have of course the prime tower enabled, otherwise it will just crash. Quite simple. I could do more. I could make it smaller, but I don't want to. In this case, I want to have the strength and set standard. Okay, this is of course now it's just will be kind of strange soon because I will import models to it, different models together. So and ooze prevention always, and okay, you can make it higher, but I don't have much different. So it will, of course, now 20 cent. It will only start cooling and then start to heat up again very soon behind each other. It will just be parked and then already starting to heat again, simply because it's so small. Beam interlocking makes it stronger the lock, but in this small piece it will not do anything or much at all. So then I know I have prepared it. Others, if you want to see it. Very small beam, there's no problem. It's good enough as I saw before, so that will be okay. That will be only on the normally only on the PLA and a very little bit on the TPU part in this print. So now let's import our file that we made in Fusion. So I go on the right plate here and I just said add models. This way I'm making sure that I don't get settings over from other things in my VMF file. Here you see that it generated an old Orca slicer version. Okay, yeah, it's not Orca, it was Fusion, and I didn't save any print settings there. And as you can see, now it's all in automatically going to, all the models are going in one, which I don't need to be, so I go to Objects. And here you see it's all in one, filament one. And of course, I made clear I had a name and I called it Flex, so I will just now you can type it just reflect it. And now this will be, as you can see here, it is different models, and you see it will be slightly different on the side, and this is of course I can click it off, as you can see. And now you have the preview also for the prime tower. I don't like it being so much on the edge and making so much extra movements, although it can help against some things inside, but it's just some extra. So this, and this I should not have done, so I press Ctrl Z, because now I selected and moved myself instead of just looking around. Okay, I now have to select one part because I have to make here, I have to draw my support. So still on objects, I select this one part and I'll carefully go around there. As you can see, I know I have to just paint some support in it. So I go to support painting, and he warns me about that, which is of course perfect. You see the whole part that I made, that Fusion made. Try to zoom in, and I have show overhangs on, and you see where all the overhangs are. And since I know what is happening, I know I don't have to put it on everywhere in the design, because when I put the other parts on, this will all be a lot of the inside, of course. So I don't need it there, but I will need support in here. So just a tiny line, tiny line. So later, what will it do? It will just put the supports in over there. And you know, this is on the lower line anyway, so okay. And then I go further I go back, here you see only objects. I know, that's perfect. Let's see what the preview is telling us already. Now it's probably coming with a warning. All plates of G-code parts have been, yes, of course, yeah, we know that because the parts will be put together as we want it. And if you go now here into views, you see also, I can put it off, of course, but each layer it has this problem. So you see here at the first layer, it will be just printing here the TPU part, then go on all this time, and this will be PLA, and also here it will be PLA. And this, of course, here, like you saw before, the settings for the brim and support parts. So if you move up, here you see this is the support, and here is the third part. So all these different parts are visible now. And this is basically how you prepare it for the print. So what if you want to have multiple of these? Okay, I press Ctrl A to select all. As you see, they're all here selected. You can do it also another way. And then I go, okay, here you see a selected object 3. It makes sure that they stay on the same place. Then I go to clone. I always have to look for it. It's there somewhere. I always look over it. One moment. Okay, first, in this slice, you first have to use assemble to get them together. I did that, and now I can just press on it again with clone. And so I want one extra of these. And as you see, it just takes over the same things, which would at least. And you have assembly 1, assembly 2. So that is what is saying for now. And now you see the whole thing is happening here, of course. I go to preview, which will take some time. Although it is a very small print, at least for this kind of printer. It can go much faster, this printer, of course, but that is depending on which materials you use and how your settings are. Okay, let's see. I could go around. This is kind of the preview of the slice, and you see both having there, and it's looking like I expect it to be. And it's now a print of 5.5 hours. Expected, and as you saw on my earlier video, at the end it was just like 2 hours shorter than it was expected in the slicer, which is very nice, of course. So here you see that red one is flexible, and of course you see the whole interlocking appearing. And you already had a message about it, of course, as you saw before. So it's slice place. Okay, before I now go to print, I like to just save it. You can save it under a new name, or you can save it under the same name. I normally just do that. So now it's saved under the same name as the earlier STL, because it already was one, so now it's saved. You can not see everything I do here, but you can, of course, on the top you can save your product as, and you give a new name. In this case I don't mind, because I will be, for any change, I will be exporting it again from out of Fusion. Okay, so to see if the printer is ready, of course it says device offline. Yeah, this is normal Okay, no problem. I go to plus. I choose my printer, and you see full power create now. Okay, so it is idle, of course. Don't never forget to put press on the OK after printing, otherwise it will not be there. It will be busy until you clean the bed and press the button. So then I go back to preview, and now I can just say print plate. Oh, by the way, if you want to know the times and everything, here you see it, of course, and you see how much filament is used for which. And of course, you see also that we have some waste. It's nothing actually, but okay, we have some waste, of course, here in the tower. It could be less, but the more parts you print at the same time, the lower your tower is, your prime tower waste is, of course. It doesn't purchase it with the 85X. If you do this on the 85X, you will be in for a very long print. Maybe I'll show you later, but and also then you have a really lot of purge waste, which is not even in this listing. It doesn't show anymore how much filament changes are getting to be there, but okay, you can, it's set on 0 is of course a lot, but okay. So I go to print plate. I make sure that these are you can select them here, of course. And it's sure I like to do the leveling and flow calibration if I do a new print. Flow calibration is not necessary anymore this time. Time-lapse videos, yes, I do them actually normally all the time. I can always remove them later. If there is some kind of failure, I can put them on the USB stick and then later just watch what is recorded. So I can then see when something happened, when something started failing. That's only where I use it for the whole time lapse. So okay, I press send, and now it will all send it over the Wi-Fi network here, which is all their own network. And I think in the background you hear the printer starting with all the fans running and starting the whole preparing, which is taking always quite some time because first it has to home, then it has to preheat the bed, check if everything is okay, and then start the leveling, which takes quite a long time in this, still in this firmware of this time in early August of 2026. Probably this will be made better sometime soon with just part leveling and things like that, but in this firmware at this time it's going to take some time to prepare, and after it has been done the first test, then it will be cooling down to do the good leveling, and then it will finally start loading the filament with a little purge to clean the nozzle for leftover filament in the printer, and then it will start the real print. So the time here is always off. Very short print, it will be way off. If you have a longer print, then it will be more accurate, and many times it will be faster than what is set here to print. Okay, see you next time, and follow my other videos if you want. As a short add-on, I told you I would have a look what it will be with 85X for about the same print. Of course, when I changed it, it probably lost also some settings, but I try to be as much the same as possible. Let's go here, of course, go to the warner about the enforcers, and the support is not enabled. I have to enable it, and then not on auto, but on a normal manual. And let's see what it does. It is, of course, now off, and I hope the settings will be still there for the support. Let's see what it says when I go to preview. Yes, they're still there. There's some difference, of course, always between the printers, because even with the same kind of profile, the profile is normally depending on the printers. So as you see here, the same print now is going to go over 8 hours. And it will probably be more because it has to do all these changes. And yes, it's a message because, of course, the prime tower is now not. So I have to go back and then change that, but that's not probably because I'm not going to print it now. And you see here, that is the towers will be a lot more. And of course, now it says that it has 139 changing, and as you see, I didn't put in the times that are used for changing the filament. I don't know by head. Normally I don't even look at this, to be honest. I just know if I do that it will take a long time, and then I will see when I am slicing. But of course, it's quite a lot more than when you do it on the C5 Creator 5 for this very small print, and I expect it in total it goes over 12 hours now, instead of what is now thinking, because here you see the whole printing time and the total time is the same here, and it will be quite a lot more because of all the changes it will have to do between the filaments, and it takes every time it takes quite some time. And the slicer at this time just calculating the real print time. So that is what you win. I think over 6 hours, probably at least more than 4 hours gain compared to the 85X for the same print. And then it's single nozzle, and the C5 Pro is, of course, multiple nozzle printing.